Hello and welcome to a short update on the list, or roughly the list that I'm going to be using for tonight's stream. Hasty Dino. Some pretty good stuff. Lots of early acceleration. Otepec Huntmaster and Marauding Raptor. Now I did mention Otepec Huntmaster sometimes he doesn't stick around too long, but there is that risk reward as always. To really just accelerate and go super duper fast with this guy. Topiary Stomper, lovely again, still getting that stable ramp, and I think the right pairing is Topiary plus Cultivate. You really just get to those 7 lands so quick with both those guys. Now, Cultivate and Topiary both getting a basic land out of the library. I do have 8 basics at the moment. Have been thinking about increasing that, but I haven't run out of basics to choose that often. It's only happened a couple of times, so I could see myself maybe upping it to 10 basics there, just to make sure I continue to get that benefit. But with all those lands, gotta have, well, you should have something to sink that mana into if it does come to that. So of course, Lair of the Hydra pairs perfectly with oftentimes having many lands out with this variation of dinos. Oh, lovely stuff. I haven't used it for the past couple nights playing them, so it is pretty good having that back in for sure. But always the lovely Primal Might. Pretty much we can take out anything if we sink in 3-4 mana into X, but we still get that benefit, especially if it's only one creature that they have untapped, or they may just have that single creature. We take them out quite nicely, and then we still get, again, that benefit of the temporary buff with Primal Might. And if they have no creatures out, of course, just sink everything into it. So certainly if you're going quite rampy, you want to have some payoff, for sure. In the past, my lists for dinos have not been nearly this potentially rampy and just getting so many lands. So I think it's been a little bit of a learning curve for sure, having something like Primal Might, but definitely Lair of the Hydra pairs nicely with that. Now there is no instant speed interaction. Primal Might, it's pretty good. So hopefully we don't get caught out too much needing to take things out. But just Marauding Raptor, oh, so good. Turn 3, potentially Cultivate, getting a bunch of lands, and then leading to a turn 4 Carnage Tyrant. What's not to love about that? That is just a thing of beauty. Absolutely. Or, a cheap Charging Monstrosaur. So it's kind of been nice the few times that it's happened. Turn 2 Marauding, turn 3 Cultivate, and then turn 4 I just play whatever is the best thing. Hopefully maybe a Regisaur Alpha, but also going back to Charging Monstrosaur here, he's actually been doing quite nicely. It's just a fantastic top tech. Certainly benefits well from all the cost reduction. Now, oftentimes I don't have Marauding and Huntmaster for too long. Usually it's just one or the other. But even if I have 2 Marauding Raptors out, Charging Monstrosaur is still left at 1 toughness after the 2 pings, and both Maraudings are buffed, so I just swing with Charging. Both Maraudings, nasty amount of damage right there. Say they're completely wide open. Charging Monstrosaur for 3 after being reduced by the 2 Marauding Raptor. I'd be 5 plus 4, buffing both of them, so 9 damage for 3 mana, and hopefully Charging would stick around, but that is pretty good value right there. Even if he comes down for 4 mana, or he's not reduced at all, but just having more haste, more trample. But going to the trample part of things, sometimes the creature you target with Primal Might doesn't have trample, doesn't have a way of getting trample, so you do tend to get chump blocked a little bit. So maybe using Primal Might, targeting Charging Monstrosaur to hopefully get a bunch of damage through the massively buffed dino right here, or possibly Shifting Ceratops if you want to sink a green into it to slap trample on it for the turn. Carnage Tyrant as well. So yes, lots of trample. And I have been considering, because there's a lot of that around, we do have one very fantastic card for trampling creatures. Oh, Ram Through. I think I really should add that in. I might add it in for tonight. It's certainly lovely being instant speed, but target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. If the creature you control has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. So I could see, maybe I'm sitting on 7 lands. I do Primal Might for 5 in total. So Primal Might X for 4. Buff something. Take something out nicely. And then with that extra super powered creature, ram through. Take out something else and likely do a lot of damage right to the face. And then also swing with that buffed creature, because ram through isn't a fight spell. We just basically pew pew sort of thing. Oh, that would be very nasty, very debilitating. But ram through, especially with, the queen of dinos herself, that's a match made in heaven. Yes, indeed. So possibly ram through. In the past, I haven't had a lot of trample in general. Sometimes it's just been a few Carnage Tyrant, and sometimes we don't really get to see the queen too much because they have so much fantastic removal for everything else. But definitely with charging, shifting, carnage, and the queen, I think ram through would be a pretty valid removal. Doesn't hit planeswalkers, of course, but that doesn't matter if we're hitting the face and we're winning, because we're taking out all the creatures they tried to play. All right, sideboard time. Nothing too crazy. Darmy's Ambush for a little bit more interaction if needed. Rampaging Frostodon, as always, to stop the life gain. Ripjaw, it's got to be in there somewhere. Fantastic. And then Soul Guide Lantern for a little bit of graveyard hate. Nothing too fancy, but lots of interaction. Yes, indeed. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that. I will see some of you guys tonight. Hopefully. All right. Have a good one.